Well, now that we're done talking about Nightwing, I think we covered pretty much everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so now let's talk about the man without fear himself. So for those
Matt
of you,
Murdock.
yes, Matt Murdock. So for those of you who have seen the Netflix show, or you saw the Ben Affleck movie, or you saw the '90s cartoon, you know what Daredevil is all about. When Matt was a boy, he was the son of a famous boxer, Jack Murdock, who was a boxer who his opponents would call him Jack the Devil, and he would pretty much win almost every match he had. He would have losses, but Matt wanted to pretty much be like that because he would get picked on at school. But his father told him, never fight, stay away from what I do, and you need to have a career. So Matt began studying, going to school regularly, getting A pluses in almost every class he did. But then one day, he sees that he's walking home, and he sees that his father is robbing somebody because his father at the time was employed by a higher up mob boss, and Jack had to do what he had to do to support his family. So pretty much one day after Matt saw what he saw, he was running, and he accidentally was infected by some chemicals that caused him to go blind, and that was that. But then Matt later realized that he didn't just lose his sight, he gained something more. He gained a radar sense, and most of his senses were turned up to 11. So then he decided, okay, well, I'll pretty much continue as if nothing happened. Then one day his father gets murdered, and it inspires him to want to take down the criminal organization. So he meets a man named Stick who trains him. Yep. And then in his adult life, he became a lawyer, hoping to take justice to those who deserve it. But at night, he would become a vigilante, simply known as Daredevil.
So yeah, let's talk about his radar sense. As you said,
yes.
It turns up his senses almost like tenfold, like more than tenfold. It's his senses is so acute now where he doesn't really need eyes to see. He can actually like walk around like normal. You know
yes,
what I mean?
Yes, he can. There are some instances where, say if he's watching TV or if he's reading something, to him it'll look blank. But depending on the situation, he can see pretty much regularly, like you and me. He can also, almost. It's definitely akin to a bat's radar sense, in where they, even though they're blind, they can see and hear everything as if they can see. Other great thing about Matt Murdock's acute senses is that he can actually tell if you're lying because he can hear your heartbeat.
Yes.
And tell if you're lying, he'll know that you're lying because your heart's beating fast. So yes, he definitely has a lot of interesting acute senses that definitely make up for him being blind. And also, too, I should mention, as we did with Nightwing, Daredevil is a master of hand-to-hand combat. He knows, unlike, say, Batman or Nightwing, he doesn't know every martial art, but he knows a handful that was taught to him and mastered by Stick. Such examples include Akijutsu, Aikido, Judo, Karate, Jiu-Jitsu, Kung Fu, Sayet, wrestling, stick fighting, and also because of his father, he knows American boxing. And
wow.
So he definitely knows quite a few martial arts, and these are his standard that he uses when going into battle.
Yes, that's so we're definitely going to see a lot of good hand-to-hand combat between the two, but I would agree that Nightwing does have the edge in terms of hand-to-hand, in terms of like the learning experience of learning what different types of martial arts. However, Nightwing hasn't really mastered all of them yet, like Batman.
No, but Nightwing has mastered enough. While Daredevil has only mastered a few, and it's definitely but not to discredit Matt Murdock, because in terms of Marvel fighters, he's definitely in the top 5. Like, he's definitely on level with someone like Iron Fist. And as you guys know, Iron Fist is no joke.
Right.
So yes, also Daredevil doesn't just stop with his radar sense or his martial arts. Daredevil also has, just like Nightwing, he has batons. But unlike Nightwing, instead of them being loaded with tasers, these batons are pretty much like Swiss Army knives. They can form together to be a bow staff. They can be taken apart to be used as nunchucks. They can also be used as a grappling hook for Daredevil to swing around and get where he needs to go. And in some cases, they can be used as a makeshift rope to choke out his enemies if he needs it.
Ooh.
So his stick is very versatile, and that's definitely gonna put him up there and help him be able to keep up with Nightwing. And of course, just like Nightwing and all costume superheroes, he has a suit made for him. Now, if you don't remember, Daredevil originally started out with the yellow suit, but then as time went on, he got a red suit. The red suit has been through a lot of different iterations. In some cases, it's been bulletproof. In some cases, only certain parts of it are resistant to knives and bullets. But we're mainly going to stick with the suit from the Netflix series because that is what Isma Hawk will be using. So the Netflix suit is definitely resistant to bullets from certain angles, and it is resistant to knives as well. But just be aware, guys, just because Matt has some protection, that doesn't make him invincible. It definitely can be damaged and broken if the right amount of force is put into it by gun or pretty much bluntly trauma, I should say.
So that's kind of like a good basis of his attributes and stuff, right?
Yes, it is. I definitely agree it is. But to go off Daredevil's feats, now this is where it's going to be a little difficult, guys, because as somebody who is not a huge expert on Daredevil, but as somebody who is just in the middle, I have always been under the impression that Daredevil has never been superhuman. Like, he could have super strength, speed, or durability, but because of I guess what he's been depicted doing now, I guess he does have superhuman powers. So yes, but to go off of his feats, he's definitely strong enough to toss people over him or send them flying through a wall. In one instance, he was actually able to throw his stick through concrete. And if you guys remember the math from Death Battle, throwing something like that through concrete will require a shitload of force to do it.
Yes.
So he's also been able to go toe-to-toe with superhumans. Most notably, he's been able to take down and defeat the Kingpin. Now, if you guys know, the Kingpin, due to his size, he's not all fat. It's mostly muscle.
Yeah, it's actually 2% fat.
Yes, exactly. That's how he put it. He only has 2% fat. And to also give you an idea, Kingpin is strong enough to literally bear hug somebody so hard he can break their spine and cause them to be paralyzed. Yes. And the only way Daredevil has been able to defeat him time and time again is by using Kingpin's greatest weakness, agility. Because as strong as Kingpin is, that doesn't make him agile.
Right. Oh, and speaking of agility, let's talk about his comparison to another agile superhero known as Spider-Man.
Yes, absolutely.
He actually keeps up with Spider-Man too.
Yes, that is another great feat. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, not only does he keep up with Spider-Man, he's been able to go toe-to-toe with him and even beat him on some instances. But most importantly, this is what puts Daredevil above Spider-Man. As Stan Lee said a few years ago when talking about Daredevil and his powers, he actually said and stated that Daredevil's radar sense is actually better than Spider-Man's Spidey sense. So it's like
very true.
Yes. So anything, if you guys remember what Spider-Man's Spidey sense can do, Daredevil's radar sense can do that and then some.
Yes, and a whole lot more. You know
yes,
what I mean?
Absolutely.
And we're talking to a person that can't see. You know
yes,
what I mean?
Exactly. Whereas Spider-Man, he can see, but Daredevil can't see. So that definitely puts Daredevil right up there in terms of his other feats. And notably, he also, like Nightwing, he has intolerance to pain and endurance. He's been able to survive going against the Kingpin. He's actually at one point he was able to tank a hit from the Hulk was trying to pretty much take him down, and Daredevil was speed blitzing him. But at one point, the Hulk slapped him so hard he sent Daredevil flying through a wooden fence, and Daredevil got right back up. So
that's crazy.
Yes, but it should be noted, guys, that this was in the 60s or 70s. So this isn't modern day Hulk. Like, if modern day Hulk hit Daredevil, Daredevil would be dead, in my opinion. So, and it could be argued that Hulk was holding back. I have not been able to look up the context for this, but for the sake of this, we can just assume that because this was an older version of the Hulk, that doesn't mean he's as powerful as today's Hulk.
Exactly.
Yes. And he's done a lot of things, but I think the most notable endurance feat I want to bring up for him is, if you guys remember in the Daredevil movie, which that will unfortunately be making an appearance in the analysis for Death Battle, you can bet on that. Daredevil was able to leap so high and go all the way down and land on a scaffolding that when he fell, I think you guys know where I'm going with this. The rate that he was falling, he should have broken his legs. Like, bones should have shattered and should have been sticking out. But instead, he was fine, and he was able to leap from scaffolding to scaffolding at a very high rate. And again, guys, a normal human would have broken their legs just by doing that. So that is also how durable he is. So yes, that goes over his durability, his strength. Speed-wise, I would say he's also even with Nightwing. He has been able to dodge things like bullets. He, at one point, was able to dodge Bullseye, because as you guys know, Bullseye is known for hitting people at extremely ridiculous ranges. And
also, he has awesome accuracy as well.
Yes, his accuracy is dangerously acute. And Daredevil was able to dodge and even catch some of Bullseye's projectiles. And of course, he's been able to pretty much dodge anything you can think of. And yes, so speed-wise, I would say he's also even with Nightwing.
Yes. So, all right. So is that everything about?
Yes, that's a general summary of it. As I said, I've pretty much gone down everything. Now, there was some things I chose to leave out, guys, because I want Death Battle to cover everything. I don't want to make their job. I don't want to do their job for them. So if there was some stuff I missed, I know you guys are going to let me know in the comments, but just please understand, I only did that because I want Death Battle to explain it for you guys instead of me. So, yep, that's about it.
All right, so let's talk about the verdict of who we think is going to win. You want to go first?
Yeah, this is going to be a hard. Again, guys, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This is going to be the closest Marvel versus DC fight, one of the most closest, I should say, we've ever had. I'm a huge fan of Nightwing. That's no secret. I grew up with that character. And still to this day, I love Nightwing more than Batman. So there's a huge childhood connection there. Daredevil, I was exposed to much later on, but I'm not as that big of a fan as most other people are. But that being the case, right now, if I were to say who I think is going to win, who I'm rooting for, it's Nightwing. But who I think is going to win, that's a tricky one. Because in my opinion, just like Doctor Strange versus Dr. Fate, you can make an argument that both of these characters could win, but Death Battle likes to look at the larger picture here. So this being said, I'm not going to say it right now, but if I had to say, it is very, very, very possible Nightwing could win. Now, after everything I just said about Daredevil, after everything that has been said about this character, why do I believe it's possible for Nightwing? And I'm not saying Nightwing's going to win. I'm going to wait until Death Battle does their analysis, but I'm saying it's possible. Why I think it's possible is because one thing and one thing only. The only advantage Daredevil has in his corner is his acute senses and his radar sense. That's about it. Everything else Daredevil has is something Nightwing already has. So anything Daredevil has been able to do, Nightwing has been doing that way before he did. It also helps, in my opinion, Nightwing definitely has the experience factor going for him because he's been doing this since he was 8 to 11. And before that, before he became Nightwing, before he became even Robin, Nightwing, as Duo said, was a acrobat who was doing death-defining stunts, meaning the stunts he did in the Flying Graysons could have killed him at a very, very young age. So he definitely has the experience. He has been trained by Batman, so he definitely has better mastery of some martial arts than Daredevil, because Daredevil only knows a few. And also, both of these two are even. I would say they're even in terms of maybe speed and strength and durability. Nightwing and Daredevil have been through a lot, and at some points, if you were to put yourself in their position, the stuff they went through would have killed you. So I think what this fight's going to come down to is the experience factor. And in my opinion, what also tips it in Dick Grayson's favor is that Dick Grayson, if we're going by what he's been doing now, if we're going pre-Crisis, before the New 52 and Rebirth, Nightwing had 20 to 30 years worth of experience as an acrobat, as Robin, as Nightwing, as a leader of the Titans, and finally as Batman, because if he did eventually become the Batman for 4 years our time, 4 to 8 years our time, and all that time he spent as Batman even furthered his experience. So this being said, Daredevil has some good experience of his own, but that's the thing. Nightwing is a detective. Daredevil is a ninja and a lawyer. So I think Nightwing is going to be able to, and yes, Nightwing's not going to know that Daredevil is blind because Death Battle combatants don't get any knowledge of each other's abilities beforehand. But even if Nightwing doesn't figure out he's blind, that's really not going to help Daredevil in the case, because all Daredevil's going to be able to do is sense where Nightwing is at all times. But just because he can do that, that doesn't mean, okay, it automatically doesn't mean he is going to win every time. Right. So, yes. Now, yes, if Nightwing does do what his father does and use stealth, then that's going to be negated because Daredevil can get around that, just like Spider-Man can.
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much who I want to win, guys. Again, I'm going to wait till the actual battle comes out to make my full judgment further.
All right. So now on to my prediction, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is gonna be for the first time where I actually have a different prediction than you do. I think that Daredevil is gonna win this. It's mainly because of his radar sense. Mainly that, because if it's one thing I know that Nightwing is known for, it's also using stealth and deception and whatnot. And that, like you said, it's not really going to work on Daredevil, because if you use flash bombs on Daredevil, it ain't going to work because he can't see.
Yeah.
He can't see. Even like, I guess, like sound diversions or something like that probably won't work with him too, because his ears are very acute, can work around those types of things, I believe. And again, his radar sense, as we mentioned before, is more powerful than the Spidey sense. So in terms of like hand to hand and stuff, I believe that he'd be able to evade most of everything that Nightwing can throw at him. In terms of like their physical prowess, I think they're pretty much almost dead even. Like, I think strength wise, Daredevil has a little bit on the advantage. But in terms of everything else, I think they're kind of on par. But I think that when it comes to that radar sense, I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for Nightwing. And I do agree that Nightwing might have more experience, but I think in this fight, this is the first time where experience is not going to be the big, huge factor. I think that with Daredevil's radar sense, his all of his, like most of his rest of his senses except for his sight is so acute. I believe that it's gonna help him defeat Nightwing.
Yeah, no, that's a great argument to go off what you just said. I definitely can see that. Again, I'm not objective to Daredevil winning. As I said, you can make that argument for both. But another thing I also should bring up is that Daredevil's radar sense will be a big factor and could be a big contributing factor to him winning. But just in my opinion, just because it is better than Spider-Man's Spidey sense, that doesn't mean it's exactly the same, and I hope people don't get that mixed up, because Daredevil's radar sense does have its limits. And if Nightwing, if there are specific things that can throw it off, but what also could help Nightwing, in my opinion, is not only his experience, but also I would say his acrobat skills. Which, yes, Daredevil is also an acrobat, but But guys, Nightwing is the acrobat. When it comes to acrobatics in the DC universe, Nightwing is second to none. The only people that even come close to rivaling him in his acrobatic skills is Harley Quinn, and that's a pretty short list. So, yes. I guess in my opinion, it is the best thing I can say about this fight is that regardless of who we go for, this is going to be a tough one for Death Battle to decipher, because again, as Marvel versus DC fights go, this is anything but clean cut. It's anything right. But it's even anything but one-sided. Like, it's very tricky to decipher. So I definitely agree with Duo's prediction. I definitely could see Daredevil winning, and if Nightwing does lose, then I guess that's the end of my streak. But because again, I cannot go for Nightwing. It's impossible for me to go for Daredevil, because again, that's just how much I love Nightwing. And yes, that may be a little biased, but I think in this case, I'm allowed to be biased, because again, I just have more of a connection with Nightwing than I do with Daredevil.
I do too. I have more of a connection with Nightwing, because I love Batman. I love the Batman series, but I just feel that with what Daredevil has, I just think that he might lose this one. I could be wrong.
It's all right.
We both could be wrong.
Both of us could be. For all we know, this could end up in a draw, which I know Death Battle said they're not doing that anymore, but this is the one case where I think it could end up in a draw.
Could, yeah. But one thing definitely will agree is that Tyler and Danny are going to kill this.
Yes, no,
they are going to kill this.
Yes, no, they are, definitely. Like, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, the verdict does not matter. Like, the verdict and the prediction we're doing, it's not going to matter in the long run, because this is going to be Death Battle's first live action fight. And with that being said, this fight is going to be the most unique and original kick-ass fight we've had in Death Battle. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. So I definitely am looking more forward to the actual live action choreography than the actual verdict.
Me too. So yeah, I think that's the end of our prediction. So right now we're kind of split. Me and the Jedi Bender are kind of split. He feels that Nightwing might win this. I believe that Daredevil might win this. And this is the first time we actually had a split decision.
Yeah, no. There's a first time for everything. But yeah, no, guys. So yeah, we're both definitely split, but what we both agreed on is that this fight's going to kick ass. It's going to look great, and it's probably going to be the most original and unique fight of this season.
Exactly. So yeah, guys. As always, if you listen to everything we've done, everything we said, please take it to consideration that it's just our prediction. It's not proven fact or anything. We're just going by what we.
No, yes, we don't have the actual. Unlike Ismahawk, we don't have the actual winner in front of us. We don't know who's going to win.
Nope. Nope. But anyway, as always, though, if you guys have something to add to the table that we might have missed out, always feel free to leave your thoughts and comments down below and tell us what you guys think. And we got to discuss and debate about with you if you agree or disagree with either me or the Jedi Bender. And also, guys, I know this is Jedi Bender's YouTube channel. Please subscribe to him, please, because he needs to get back to where he belongs. Almost to 2000 and actually more than 2000.
Yes, I would definitely like to get back there. If you guys can, that'd be lovely. I would like to get back there, and with your guys' help, I think it's possible. So yes, please definitely go support my channel. But also, you know, if those of you who already support Duo, then definitely keep supporting him on Battle Mode, and also support our other colleagues at Nerdbender. They definitely need it too.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up, guys. So I'm gonna do my little exit. This is Duo Dreamer, and as always, dream big.
This is the Jedi Bender saying, "Be air, my friends."
See you guys.
Bye, guys.